After months of rumors and speculation, the first look at the Odyssey has finally arrived, and fans are already calling it one of the most ambitious movies ever made. Directed by Christopher Nolan, the filmmaker behind masterpieces like Interstellar, Oppenheimer, and The Dark Knight, this new project promises a massive mythological adventure unlike anything we've seen before. The movie is expected to hit theaters on July 17, 2026, and if the trailer is any indication, Nolan is about to deliver a visually stunning and emotionally powerful story. But before we talk about the full expected story, let's break down what the trailer actually shows. The trailer opens with a wide cinematic shot of a dark ocean during a violent storm. Lightning flashes across the sky while waves crash against a shattered ship. A mysterious voice begins narrating about a hero who challenged the gods themselves. This immediately hints at the central character of the story, Odysseus, the legendary Greek king who fought in the Trojan War. We then see a battlefield filled with burning ruins and soldiers marching through smoke. This is most likely the aftermath of the Trojan War, one of the most famous conflicts in Greek mythology. The trailer suggests that Odysseus and his men are finally heading home after the war, but their journey will become far more dangerous than the war itself. Another quick scene shows a massive wooden horse standing outside a fortified city. This is clearly a reference to the legendary Trojan horse strategy, the trick that allowed the Greeks to infiltrate Troy and win the war. Nolan seems to be using this moment as the starting point for Odysseus's long journey back home. But things quickly turn dark. The trailer cuts to Odysseus sailing across endless waters with his crew. At first, the journey looks hopeful, but then strange events begin to unfold. The sky darkens, the sea becomes violent, and mysterious creatures begin to appear. One of the most striking shots in the trailer shows a gigantic shadow moving beneath the ocean surface. Moments later, we see a massive sea monster attacking the ship. This could represent one of the many mythical creatures Odysseus encounters during his journey. Another quick scene shows a beautiful island surrounded by fog. A woman with glowing eyes appears, possibly representing the enchantress Circe, a powerful sorceress from Greek mythology who turns Odysseus's men into animals. If Nolan stays close to the original myth, this scene will likely be one of the most surreal parts of the movie. But the trailer doesn't just focus on monsters and magic. It also shows the emotional side of the story. We see glimpses of Odysseus's home, the kingdom of Ithaca, where his wife Penelope and his son Telemachus are waiting for his return. Years pass, and people begin to believe that Odysseus is dead. Meanwhile, powerful men start competing to marry Penelope and take control of the kingdom. This part of the story introduces the political tension that will run parallel to Odysseus's journey. While he struggles to survive across dangerous seas, his family back home is fighting a different battle. Back to the trailer, another dramatic moment shows Odysseus trapped in a giant cave while a monstrous figure approaches him. Fans immediately recognize this as the Cyclops Polyphemus, one of the most famous encounters in the Odyssey. In the original myth, Odysseus blinds the Cyclops to escape the cave, but this act angers the sea god Poseidon, who then curses Odysseus and makes his journey home nearly impossible. And this curse might be the central conflict of the entire movie. The trailer also includes several shots of violent storms destroying ships and warriors being thrown into the ocean. These scenes likely represent Poseidon's wrath as he repeatedly tries to stop Odysseus from reaching home. But Nolan being Nolan, the story will probably go deeper than just mythology. Many fans believe the film will explore themes of survival, leadership, and the psychological toll of war. Odysseus isn't just a warrior fighting monsters. He's a man trying to hold on to his identity after years of violence and loss. Another powerful moment in the trailer shows Odysseus alone on a beach, exhausted and broken. His armor is damaged, his face covered in scars, and he looks like someone who has lost everything. This scene might represent the lowest point in his journey, when he begins to question whether he will ever see home again. But the story of the Odyssey has always been about perseverance. Despite every obstacle, Odysseus continues moving forward. Eventually, after years of wandering across dangerous lands and oceans, he finally reaches Ithaca. But returning home isn't as simple as walking through the door. The kingdom has changed, and the men trying to marry Penelope have taken control of the palace. According to the original story, Odysseus disguises himself as a beggar to secretly enter his own home. This allows him to observe the situation and plan his revenge. One of the most iconic scenes in the entire myth involves a bow contest. Penelope announces that she will marry whoever can string Odysseus's legendary bow and shoot an arrow through several axe heads. None of the suitors can do it. Then the disguised beggar steps forward. Of course, the beggar is actually Odysseus. He easily strings the bow, revealing his true identity before launching a brutal attack against the men who tried to steal his kingdom. This moment will likely serve as the final battle of the movie. After years of struggle, Odysseus finally defeats his enemies and reunites with his family. But the ending may not simply be a happy reunion. Knowing Christopher Nolan's style, the film might end with a deeper reflection on everything Odysseus lost during his journey. Victory may come with a heavy emotional cost, and that's probably what will make this adaptation unique. Instead of just being a mythological adventure, the Odyssey could become a powerful story about trauma, survival, and the price of heroism. With Nolan's signature large-scale filmmaking, massive practical effects, and intense storytelling, this movie has the potential to become one of the biggest cinematic events of 2026. And if the trailer is anything to go by, audiences should prepare for an epic journey across storms, monsters, gods, and human struggles. Because this isn't just the story of a hero returning home. It's the story of a man who must fight the entire world just to find himself again. And when the Odyssey finally arrives in theaters on July 17, 2026, we'll finally see whether Christopher Nolan has created the definitive version of one of history's greatest legends.